And according to Flippo, it talks about training as an act of increasing the knowledge and skills of an employee in doing a particular job. So most organizations are really invested in training. And one of the focus of this is to ensure that employees are able to continuously learn when they are doing their job so that they can be able to improve what they do on a day-to-day basis. The other thing of training is to increase their skills and knowledge in their area of operation. For example, if you're in human resource, the organization will be able to come up with strategies on how they are going to increase your training needs. Therefore, they will always organize for training on behalf of the organization so that in one way or another, you'll get an opportunity to go and train. And once you train, you'll be able to come back and apply the skills or the knowledge that you gained during your training period. So what is the importance of training and development? Number one is to increase or improve the employee performance. Once you are taken to this training, remember these training are very vigorous because at the end of the day, you are normally given even some tasks to do, and they want to judge your understandability of those tasks. Are you able to understand those tasks? So once they give you the task, the main intention is for you to be able to increase your performance when you go back to do your job. It will also help you to increase the confidence in you. So once you interact with other people, you understand their way of thinking, and this will help you to broaden your thinking. And once you do that, then it will increase your confidence when you go back to do your job. Then the other thing is that it improves employee satisfaction and morale. Imagine when you're taken for a training, it means that the company values you a lot. And that is why they have invested so much in training you. So once you get the training, it will help you to increase your morale in your area of operation. And this also will help you to have value to your organization. Therefore, it will lead to what is called employee satisfaction and employee morale. Then it also helps in addressing weaknesses. Why do organizations normally come up with trainings? One of the reasons is to be able to increase the know-how so that they reduce issues of weaknesses when it comes to some gaps within the organization. When they realize there is a skill gap, then the organization or the management will try their level best to increase trainings. And this is one way of addressing weaknesses in the organization. So it provides the overall knowledgeable staff with employees who can take over to another level, depending on the need of that organization. Then we're also talking about increased productivity and adherence to quality standards. Remember, the main focus of training is to increase your productivity. How will it increase your productivity? So once you go and learn something new, you'll be able to bring what you've learned into your daily operations, and this will increase productivity at the end of the day. Therefore, it will also lead to quality standards, and we'll be able to improve the company performance or success in various projects. Then it also enhances company reputation and profile. So remember, organizations that have really invested in training means that the main focus is to be able to increase the reputation of the company. Remember, you are the first agent of that company outside your company premises. So once you are an agent of the company, it means that you need to carry yourself in a particular manner that addresses the company's needs. Therefore, it means that once they give you the training, their main focus is to ensure that at the end of the day, you always carry the flag of your company high. Therefore, this will increase your reputation, and at the same time, it will increase the company's reputation and profile. Then it also leads to better use of resources. They've realized that most of the time, organizations, employees normally waste resources. For example, when you talk about physical resources, financial resource, and also human resource. When you go to some organizations, they don't want to take care of the resources. And later they will start complaining that we do not have the resources that are needed to complete a particular task. If that is the case, then it is very important for people to be trained so that they'll be able to take care of the resources of the organization. Remember, resources are very limited in the organization. And by virtue of being limited, it is the responsibility of the employees to take care of these resources so that they can maximize their potential. The other thing is it will lead to fewer accidents. And when you train your employees, then it means they'll be able to understand how to handle machines if this is a technical activity. Therefore, by virtue of being trained on how to use those machines, it will help to reduce issues of accidents. Imagine if you're working in a warehouse and you do not know how to use a forklift. What will happen at the end of the day? It means that you'll end up having a lot of accidents and damages at the same time. So to be able to reduce this, the organization therefore requires that people who are working in that environment must be taken to training. This is one way of ensuring that they reduce accidents in the long run or short run. So what are some of the methods of training? The first method of training can be classified into two. That is the on-job training and the off-job training. So let us begin with the off-job training or external training. So off-job training is a training where the organization uses the services of consultants so that they can provide specific trainings to their employees. And these trainings normally are well organized, and the consultant is given the scope of what he or she is supposed to cover. So the essence of these trainings is to be able to create another perspective of what happens in maybe other companies, or based on the experience of the consultant will be able to shed a lot of light when it comes to that particular subject of discussion. So you have different types of off-job training. The first one is instructor-led training. This is where we have the services of a well-trained personnel who will train you and will have different presentation skills and materials that will be able to shed light on what is required as the employee. And this will require the employee to go to a classroom where he will have to take some classes, and at the end of the day, they will also be able to give them examinations which will test their level of understanding on the training. Then we also have what is called the e-learning. E-learning is where the organization will capitalize on the use of technology. And technology here, you can use videos, you can use tests, you can use courses, and you can also train online. And nowadays, the company is required to provide smartphones to their employees and also computers. So they come up with programs that will help employees to be able to learn a lot. For example, they can use LinkedIn, where you learn a lot, where we have videos, we have trainers who have recorded their videos in that platform, and they are able to learn more. Then we also have what is called simulation training. Simulation training is also the use of computers or virtual reality devices, where you are given some simulations. And once you're in the simulation, you will be able to train and understand more about the issues you are required. And this is very common in technical organizations. You can be in IT and you can use simulations to carry some tasks and to be able to solve some problems using your computer and things like that. Even in the aviation industry, we also have a lot of simulations where pilots are normally given an opportunity to train themselves before they can do the real job. They will be required to use simulation trainings for purposes of trying to understand what is the scope of what they are going to do. Then we also have what is called the role playing. This is where you ask employees to work through one aspect of their job in a controlled scenario. You give employees some roles to do. Then once they do the roles, you'd be able to give them points based on what they've done. And this is a very common strategy that organizations want to use to be able to develop the future generation. And remember, we are talking about sustainability most of the time, and sustainability will require that employees must be able to succeed the others who are leaving the organization. Then we also have what is called case study. Case study. This is where you are given training topics and you are required to read those case study. And once you read the case study, you'll be able to give your own view of your understanding of the case study. And this is very common in classroom type of training where you are given case studies, you analyze those case studies and try to come up with possible solutions to various problems or opportunities that are in those case studies. And this is also very common in professional courses like this one, where you will be given case studies to be able to perform various tasks. The other thing is the other classification of the method of training is the internal training, also referred to as the on-the-job training. This is a kind of training where internal employees are normally assigned responsibility internally so that they can be able to learn other areas of their work. For example, if you're in procurement, you might be given a task in logistics where you will be able to get some training on logistics. And once you get the training and understand the various policies and regulations in that area, then you can be given the opportunity to be in logistics. In human resource, for example, if you are in talent acquisition or talent building, you can be taken to welfare where you go and train and understand what is this that the people in welfare are doing so that at the end of the day, you can be able to perform that task. This is very common where the organization would want to build employees who really understand the internal business processes. And one of the focus of these employees is to be able to perform various tasks in various departments as a way of trying to build their experience and at the same time trying to understand what is that we do day-to-day basis. We have different methods that can be used in on-job training. The first method is coaching or mentoring. Coaching or mentoring. So coaching involves the development of one-to-one relationship between the employee and the supervisor. For example, if you are a junior staff and you want to join management, for example, you will be given an opportunity to get a coach in that particular area. And once you have the coach, then it becomes easy for you to be able to learn. And this will build the relationship, a one-on-one relationship. And the coach will help you or will guide you on what you're supposed to do. And this will also give you some feedbacks. So once they understand your weakness or your strength, they will be able to give you some feedbacks that will help shape your ability going forward. Then we also have what is called mentoring. Mentoring is a form of coaching used by experienced executives to groom their junior employees. So mentoring is more than coaching. And mentoring involves a one-on-one kind of coaching where you have somebody for a very long time who is trying to nurture you to become something better than what you really are, or trying to build your capability so that in future you will be able to also pass the same to others. So it is always important that you need to look for a mentor, somebody that you admire in that organization. And this is someone who is going to shed light on their experience, trying to make you understand what they do, and also try to nurture you to become better version of yourself. Then we also have what is called understudy assignment. This is where trainees are prepared to perform the work or fill the position of their superiors. So normally, you are normally seconded to a certain position so that once you understand that position, you are given various responsibilities in that position and you'll be able to learn. But as much as you are trying to learn, the supervisor or the superiors will give you the job to do. And once the people maybe get a promotion, you'll be able to get an opportunity to cover that space. Or when your superior retire or get some transfers, you automatically will be able to get that position so that the transition will not be very, very bad. So understudy assignments are very common in organization. And the main focus is to be able to understand or come up with the people who are going to succeed in the future in that particular position. Then we have what is called job rotation. Job rotation. Job rotation is where employees are normally given different tasks from other areas. For example, if you are in human resource, remember in human resource, we have different categories of human resource. For example, you might be having, just a minute. I don't know the categories of human resource, but because you are practitioners, you are going to give me those categories so that we see what happens. So human resource categories, human resource categories. So the first one is, let me give you the first one. We have talent acquisition, talent acquisition. Number 2 is which one? Yes, Samuel?
Training and development.
Yeah, training and development, Yes, Akumu. Wendy Akumu, yes.
Employee relations.
Employee?
Relations.
Yeah, employee relations, yes, employee relations. Employee relations. And many more employee relations. So you might be in talent acquisition, and when the job rotation comes, you'll be taken to another category. Maybe you'll be dealing with training and development. If you're not in training and development, you might be taken to another one, maybe employee resourcing. You might be taken to another one, which is welfare of employees, employee welfare. So it depends. And the main focus of job rotation is to help employees understand what happens in other areas so that at the end of the day, you will be able to understand more about the various activities in those areas. Then we have committee assignments. This is where we have different committees, and the main focus of these committees is to be able to solve some problems that are affecting the organization. So you might be having committees that have been given the responsibility to perform a particular task. And this also helps you to create what is called the team spirit, where you work as a team to be able to achieve a certain goal within the organization. Then we also have what is called orientation or induction. This is very common for new employees who are employed or who have been given an opportunity to work for that particular job. So the main focus of orientation basically is to try to print a picture of what happens in that organization, so that once you are a new employee, you will be able to understand what are some of the policies of that organization, what are some of the things that you need to do, what are some of the ethical issues that you need to understand, the ethical code of conduct, some of the areas in that organizations. You need to understand the structure and many other aspects of the organization. So orientation basically is to be able to shed light on what you're supposed to do or what you're supposed to know that happens in that organization. So let's talk about development. Development, remember, is a continuous process. And the essence of development basically is to try to refresh information and knowledge so that at the end of the day, you'll be able to have what is called continuous improvement. So in case of development, off the job methods are used. So when you want to develop people, you normally use the off-the-job method, where you can look for an instructor who will come and try to train people so that they will be able to broaden their scope. And also, we are saying development, remember, is a continuous process. And normally organizations would want to bring people who are well experienced in that area, so that they'll be able to shed light on some of the challenges and the possible solutions to those challenges. And the main focus is to be able to improve their employees, in terms of skills, in terms of knowledge, and many other aspects. And sometimes they come up with trainings like mental health trainings, work-life balance trainings, and others for purposes of trying to ensure that employees realize their full potential in the organization. Any question? Any question? Yes, Samuel?
I'm okay, Malima, no question.
Okay, Lillian, you have a question? Lillian is saying no question. Wendy, you have a question?
No question.
Okay.